All right, looks like we're live. Yeah, welcome everyone to Through the Portal to where we go into a space where vision, creativity, and conversation come alive in real time. And today I have Marc Engel with me. Um, Marc Engel is a founder of the Third Space, where he helps founders and creative leaders grow their cultures as intentionally as they grow their companies, exploring it really means to win when success, fulfillment, and connection are all part of the picture. Welcome.
Thank you. And thank you for having me.
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't we start out with you giving us a little bit of a background of um, you and your work and what's currently the focus of what's really alive right now in your
Mm, right. Yeah. Thank you. Um, so, well, how far should we go back? So originally, I started in a different field than what I work now. I started actually in asset management, very exotic for a Swiss guy where I'm originally from, to end up in the financial industry. But it was asset management, and I had a great job, and it was great fun. I had a leadership role. I was leading a team. And at one moment, I realized that I really loved the leadership, but I was really not passionate about the financial markets at all. Right. So my intellect was activated, but my heart was not in it. And so that led me to a journey of self discovery. And that led me into coaching first, and then very quickly into leadership development. And this is what I've been focusing on for the last 5 years. And you mentioned it today. I work with founders and creative agencies, creative leaders. It's a niche that found me rather than the other way around, which I'm very excited about. I'm super inspired by working with creative people um, who want to invest in leadership, who want to grow, and who want to bring these elements that you mentioned, right, of breakthrough results, of connection, and also fulfillment, kind of together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, what is currently present for me, as you asked that, is it was an interesting couple of days. I was actually about, or I might actually write like a quick article about that, because last week I was in a week of maybe slight overwhelm or maybe anxiety, probably caused by the geopolitical events that
Mm-hmm.
kind of left its mark on me. And that then had like a spillover effect on many other things. So suddenly the speed of AI was overwhelming. Some of the business stuff that I do felt frustrating. And it kind of took a Muay Thai session. I'm based in Bangkok. So a Muay Thai session, Thai kickboxing, and a coaching session to kind of bring my nervous system back into balance. And
Mm-hmm.
that really allowed me to shift how I approach work, so to say, how I approach also AI. And it was really, yeah, I did a shift within a week, but it took me a couple of days to get out of that mode. That was a bit anxiety heavy, subtle, but present. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that can definitely have an effect. I mean,
Yeah.
in your own work, you are, also um a leader or a founder, just like the people you work with.
That's
So,
right.
um,
That's right. Yeah, it was kind of ironic because I posted a note on Substack about finding your inner stillness. Exactly in
mhm,
that moment, it was kind of it was harder for me to access it for a while. Yeah.
mhm, mhm.
Mm.
So, what brought that shift on for you in your? I mean, let's go a little bit deeper about this shift of how you work with leaders, like the approach or getting that what you were talking about, like the head was there but the heart wasn't. So
Right.
how do you approach that with your clients or
Mm.
like what's? what do you see missing, or what do you, and how do you approach that? That's it. So,
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. So, well, first of all, I was very lucky to, I would say, having experienced part of how I do that now in my own journey and my own certifications. It was usually a type of training that was very hands-on, very experiential, tapping into intuitive intelligence, tapping into, let's say, social intelligence. And actually, a friend or a colleague of mine, he termed like a learning style, so to say, that he calls ISE. Stands for intuitive, social, and experiential learning. And that's how I approach, I would say, my workshops. Yes, there are slides. Yes, there are things that you can think about, but mostly it's a space where you're invited to reflect not only on what you do as a leader, but also who you are as a human being. So kind of the being behind the mask, where you invited them to share what's present for you with your colleagues or team members, and then kind of tap into maybe more of an sometimes like deep conversations, but sometimes also more like activated style of learning, where you tap into exercises and then you reflect back on, oh, so what actually happened in you? What did you notice? What thoughts came up? What sensations? What feelings come up? So it kind of yeah, it's not like I'm not a professor teaching you something at all. I see myself completely as a facilitator who's kind of facilitating the journey, guiding the journey for you and your team, right? So I think my main job to some degree is really to get, especially when I work with teams, also for groups, but especially within tech teams, to let them have the conversations that they should be having, that they just sometimes don't or often don't find the time or don't take the time, right? So that's
yeah,
really my role. Yeah.
yeah, more on the human layer, the relationship
For
layer.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And when you, um, so in your experience, what do you see change when that relationship layers, is taken serious, and they can dive into that part of themselves and the team, right? And because it's a different layer than when they just work together on whatever goals and projects and strategies and whatever. But if that interpersonal layer, what do you see? What changes for them?
Well, interestingly enough, it's like usually I get approached not by like usually I'm not get approached when teams coming to me and say, oh, we are like in deep conflict or there's something in the relationship not working.
Hmm.
They approach me for different reasons. Maybe they want to grow and they're looking for a different strategy, or they want to learn more about leadership, or they have some operational stuff that is not working. They talk about processes that haven't worked for years or for a long time, and so this is how they enter. And the interesting thing is what usually happens once we work on the relational layer that I sometimes call chemistry, right? Like to get like that flow between the people, going to work more on the invisible things between the people than the visible stuff at first. This removes a lot of the blocks that are present in the other conversations, because there's different voices, different opinions, different feelings, different perspectives, almost like different truths that need to be spoken. And once they are spoken, it's almost like that the thing that was stuck starts to flow, starts to move. And then the conversations about the strategy, about the processes, about the operations, they completely change, right? Because that thing that was in between them, that got removed. So that's usually what I see happening, like from a process perspective. From the feeling or the experience in the room, there's a lot of like from calm to alive, from not that energized to energized, right? So the kind of the, I would say, like the energy starts to flow within them and between them,
Mhm.
and that's the effect. Yeah.
Yeah. When do you see when do you see these tensions usually come up first? Is it kind of like a scaling thing sometimes? Like, the company is quickly creating these teams and didn't leave time for these kind of interactions, or is it just something that it's just something ingrained in the culture so far yet in the, let's say it, the corporate culture or whatever, depending on what organization it is, even if it's not corporate, even if it's something like um, nonprofit organization. But I think like these kind of dynamics have become some sort of kind of standard, right? And well, I mean, there's how leadership or how organizational management has been taught, and do you see that that's something that it's just ingrained into this, how the standard or how the norm is of how people work together?
Yeah, yeah, totally. Like, I mean, with when I it's like so when I work with, let's say, founders or creative agencies, they usually they fall into one of two categories. Some of them are super performance oriented, like they build their performance machines. It's like they push for results and are very successful. And the others are very, let's say, people or relationship oriented, right? And so they love the meaningful community, the harmony between people. And so they have conversations, but they have completely different conversations, and they're both not having the conversations that they should be having, right? For the performance oriented people, the leaning into the people side is difficult because it feels touchy feely, it feels slow, it feels a waste of time. But then they don't have the conversations that actually build the backbone that hold them when things get bumpy, right?
Hmm.
So that's what you see there. And the relationship oriented people, they don't like the performance oriented conversations because they want to keep the harmony. They don't like to push forward and ask for results and hold up accountability and so on. But even outside of those particular, or maybe these two archetypes, so to say, even in bigger corporates that I've worked with in the past, it's a standard mechanism almost in teams that these kind of conversations, we're not taught on how to have them on one hand. And it's also a very human dynamic, I would say, on the other hand, right? It's like
Hmm.
having the conversation by yourself and having someone in helping you have the conversation often changes the picture. Not always, because with skills and with the right mindset, you can improve a lot. And yet, of course, having like a third party in to facilitate that kind of changes the dynamics as well. But
Hmm.
so, long story short, yeah, it's absolute, like almost like a global pattern in like across teams, across organizations, across industries, both large corporates and, let's say, smaller creative businesses. Mm.
Hmm. Yeah. I wonder why that is. Is this something, I mean, I don't remember. I went to business school when I, um, started way back, but I don't remember that way is necessarily something that was taught.
Mm.
Maybe it is, maybe it's just something that's just how it's portrayed in media, like how we work together, or very interesting. And I'm always wondering, like, how does that come to be that we don't, I mean, there's team building and things like that, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. It's like I mean, I studied like business economics as well. You learn maybe about the characteristics of a high performing team, for example, but yeah, what that really takes in order to get there. Uh, um, it's not. I don't know if it's not sexy or if it's not like I mean there's science about that, so that cannot be it, right? So I'm not completely sure. I mean, the first time where I felt, so I was like, for myself, I was always more like of a relationship oriented person by nature, right?
Mhm,
And I thought of myself as not too bad of a listener, or maybe giving advice, blah 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 blah. But only when I went to my first coaching education, that was now, when is that? Maybe 9 years back. That was the first time where I truly learned what listening or true listening actually means. And I was,
mhm,
what was there? Like end 20s, beginning 30s, right? In that sense, that was the first moment where I realized, oh my God, I don't know what deep listening actually is. So it's on some hand such a human. It's so close to actually what it means to being human, and it's so far away from. I don't know if we're raised like that or if we're like educated like that. Uh, but it doesn't come naturally. It's not part of a standard curriculum, at least not back when I went through that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that that might be just also in general a Western society, what we call Western, as in, you
Mm,
know, um, the Eurocentric, I guess. Um, the this way of maybe it starts in childhood, like just how we interact in private life sometimes too. Do we in even with friends and family, do we ask these questions or do we go deep like that, right?
of course, of
So,
course. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, usually, yeah, absolutely. So it's there, and even I'm now based in Bangkok. Like even in this area, communication is of course like a big topic, and it's so different, also from a cultural perspective, than it is in the West. And yet, it's fascinating, right? You strip away culture, you strip away all the layers. If you go the further down you go, the more similar we get, no matter where we are, because we're all human beings, and there are
Mhm,
similar fears, and there's similar maybe hopes and desires. And once you get to that level, and once you train people to have conversations about that, then there is so much connection on that level, right? But if you stay one or two or three levels above that, then things clash, cultures clash, personalities clash, egos clash. If I get a feedback, I'm taking it personal because I feel it as an attack on my identity rather than on something that I could grow by. So giving feedback, but also receiving feedback, yeah, is a skill. So um, that's something interesting that I observed. It's not even like the deeper you go and the more you just have people have conversations about that, the easier it gets. Like you open up, you become vulnerable. That
mhm,
invites other to be vulnerable and well. And
mhm,
then you share that intimate space with each other. And that doesn't need a lot of skills, right? We don't have to go through a 2 day listening skills to be able to listen to that. You kind of naturally start to respect what is opening up there.
mhm, mhm.
Um, mm,
Yeah, it's like and it's interesting you just said vulnerability because that just jumped to my mind as well. It's like allowing yourself to be vulnerable and being in this space of vulnerability. And that on the flip side requires a lot of trust too, right? Like personal trust. Um,
yes.
because,
Yeah,
if you make yourself vulnerable, you need to trust that you're not getting hurt, right? So I
that's
think that,
right.
and then maybe that is something that is just in the global culture at the moment is not something that's really um taught and or explored enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's a part of partially mindfulness as well, like, right?
Partially, absolutely. I mean, it seems like there's this like theory around adult development, right, where it says that we kind of go through different stages, and so there's a stage. It's called differently in different theories, but kind of a reactive stage where many things that we do is very protective, like to
Mhm,
protect our sense of identity, to protect our sense of worth. And so, if we don't overcome that, we don't open up that easily because everything that comes our way, we kind of block it in some sense. And so the paradox with vulnerability, right? There needs to be trust in order for it to move, and at the same time, it is also that which creates trust, right?
mhm,
Whenever you're vulnerable, it usually is a little bit of has this beautiful contagious effect of like, oh wow, someone shared something that kind of nudges me or gives me permission to also bring something about myself. And I really had to learn that. I was lucky enough to be around people also in the coaching community. It was very, very open and very willing and very openly sharing. I was like, wow. I was very lucky to be part of that. And so that started to then nudge me in. And at one stage it doesn't feel risky at all. You just go there. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, I often think like also a lot of um there's this first hurdle of people even getting into the space of um letting someone even help them with that. Um, like be it bringing in a coach or personally with people, you know, going to therapy, for example.
Right.
um, there's a whole layer that where that is kind of like looked as um
Mm,
why do we need this, right? Why do we need
mm,
this? But um Yeah. What do you,
Uh,
just looking at if we if this was something that was more wild, but widely utilized in different organizations or groups, how would that affect how different organizations or communities operate, right?
mm. You mean like bringing in coaches or like making it like normalize it to have a coach or maybe
Yeah, yeah,
see a therapist?
those kind of programs where you say like, okay, we want to look at the more relational, the more
Mm,
um, you know, inner layers of we what drives you, what are the relationships, what are, some of the things that the deep questions, right? The deep discussions that you mentioned before.
right,
Like if
right.
people start having this and or bringing people in that can facilitate um these kind of questions,
Mm.
I don't know what that.
Yeah. I I think, I mean, one thing that comes to me, it's for sure a very humanizing process, right? That would take place, like just
Mhm.
to realize, uh, yeah, to realize that, or who you are behind that mask that you think you need to be or to portray. So there's a very humanizing aspect, and I would hope that through that there is a lot of connection that is created. So in the programs that I do by myself, also with partners, when we create these spaces, people usually leave very connected to with each other and very hopeful, even in difficult environments, because they have shared probably something about themselves and they realize that other people go through similar experiences as well. So once you share a struggle, like with the vulnerability, and you hear that, that's like very, oh wow, I'm not the only one. Oh, fantastic! Now I can share that too. So there's like a normalizing and a humanizing in that, and I hope that it would lead to stronger connection and also to stronger. Maybe like when I say harmony, I don't mean like superficial harmony. I mean like respectful uh, acceptance of like building on similarities, like acceptance of differences. So that is what I would hope for. That there is a deeper sense of harmony and connection, and kind of a realization that we're all well, all one in some sense, right? We're all connected. So if we, yeah, look at what's happening now in the world, right? So that has a huge effect on not only them, like of course the people who are directly where they're sitting are very unfortunate, and also on the rest of the world. So I would hope that would have a positive effect on that as well.
Mhm.
More in terms of personally, right? There is a lot of what it helps to some degree. First of all, it really helps you to create more awareness about yourself, right? As you said, so who
Mhm.
am I? What is important for me, really? Um, and it helps you to connect to others also on a different level. Like so, for me, the element of meaning is already always comes up. Like it's like a journey needs to be meaningful. That was a bit of my demand that I had on my work environment. It was like when I work 12 hours or 10 to 12 hours in that environment, how can I not have meaning there? That's like
Mhm.
I couldn't come to terms with that. This is why I changed. I know other people can, which is fair enough. But so I would hope that the journey becomes more human, more meaningful, more and result in more harmony
Mhm.
on a bigger scale, right? Talking on a bigger or maybe deeper scale. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you deal with people that don't really buy into it? Like that, especially if you work with teams. I mean, I'm assuming usually you're approached, by the leader or the, whoever, um, and then, working with the team doesn't necessarily mean that every single team member is really happy about this. So they might have feel some resistance against
Yeah,
this
for
program.
sure.
Yeah.
That's
Or,
right. That's right.
I'm just picturing some people being like, some team members I have had in over the years and, just picturing them like, why do we need to do this? This is, stupid.
For sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
So,
No, no, absolutely. Well, I mean, there's a couple of things, right? The first thing is like well, I'm not there to preach, right? I'm not there to tell them how they should behave or like come maybe from my ideology. I will present them with maybe a couple of frameworks, and then I have them talk usually. And so you're allowed to share what you want to share or how much you want to share. Like with some of the partners I work with, they have a beautiful, when they start the programs, they say this is a non-violent program. And what they mean by that is like, we will ask you a reflective question and we will ask you to share, but you go as far as you want to go. Right? We're not forcing you to look there if you don't want to look, to share that if you don't want to share. And like creating this space for this to happen where people, okay, they arrive and they realize, okay, they go through the experience, but they're not forced through anything and they can choose. That usually gives, yeah, it gives permission. Like, and I'm going to be honest with you. I had no single person that after a workshop would come and be super, super like negative about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, this is just crap. Like before that, for sure. Or in between that, for sure. It kind of came back. Do we have to do this? This is blah, blah, blah. And then after workshop, usually the thing is like, oh, this is really what we needed. It's not always what you want, but it's often what you might need. So it's that, right? And if there is resistance, then fine. That resistance is welcomed as well. Why not? There is in systems theory, you say that every voice of a team or of a system, every opinion is a voice of the system. And so that's an
Mm-hmm.
important voice to have as well. Um, so it's just to invite that in, to make space for that and to hold space for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. You mentioned systems theory. Is that something that you incorporate quite a bit in what you do?
Yeah, in the sense of not in the sense of that I would teach it in as
Mm-hmm.
such, but I part of my background is individual coaching, part is team coaching, part is like systems and relationship coaching, and so in that context it comes in, right? Even if you facilitate a group, I always look at that as a system, so to say,
Mm-hmm.
and what that means. I'm not there to teach system dynamics or to in that sense, but there's usually like I play with, let's say, self-awareness and system awareness, right? For example, easily like, okay, what's going on with you? What's going on in the system? And as a leader, you want to have your awareness on both, like ideally. And then I think in regenerative leadership, like a great book, by the way, they talk about these two dimensions as well. And when they meet, they talk about leadership consciousness. And I kind of like this idea of like, oh, when you're aware of what's going on there and you're aware of what's going on here and it kind of aligns, and you're at a very, very beautiful sweet spot, so to say. So so long story short, I don't articulate too much of it, but I do look at it like that. Yeah, what does it
Mm-hmm.
mean? And a system has its own intelligence, and the system moves and adapts, and it has its identity, and something emerges. And so I feel my role as a facilitator in that moment is not just to go through a structured process, but to allow that which wants to happen, right, and to surface that. And that comes from ORSC, like that. That's the systems theory that I know, that I've been trained in. So yeah, it enters, and I do feel. Now I'm talking a lot about that particular question because I
That's fine.
really love this topic of systemic leadership, or looking at like teams or also organizations as like living systems, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
they are living systems. We love to look at them in there with the org charts and the little processes and and that's all fair and that's enough. But there's so much happening in this invisible web that holds it all together. and
Mm-hmm.
and to tap into that, it seems to be also a little bit where the whole leadership development movement is going. As the world is getting so complex and interconnected, we're looking for like a way of, well, how do you respond to that? Like, how do you cannot control that anymore, so how do you deal with something that is always moving? And that is also an invitation to develop a different kind of skill set, right? It's not about, you cannot know that anymore. You have to kind of sense into it. Right? When you're with a group, and we all know that, we have been there. You enter a room and you just realize something's off, and
Mm-hmm.
you just sense that. And so you can develop skills where you start to work with that, and then you tap more into the collective intelligence rather than your own or of each individual, because together you create something that is way more than what each individual just contributes. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, very long answer.
No, I don't know. I love these kind of answers as well. So, um, no, this is good. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just wondering, um, personally, for your business, I want to, I want to kind of go to back to your vision and what you want to bring into the world with this work and why that matters.
Mm,
Why does this, why it matters for you personally and for the world, right? So
mm,
maybe if you could, if you could, if you could like think what comes to mind when you hear me say that.
mm. Yeah, happy to. Well, so the first thing that so there, I think there's different layers to that which comes to me, and the first layer is more on the maybe direct layer of how I would argue what I do in like a business context. Like I feel like the performance, and so this organizational, I work with a term that I call organizational chemistry, right? It's not high performance, it's not people first, it's chemistry. And chemistry, the way I look at it, brings like the performance dimension and the relationship dimension of things, of leadership, of team dynamics together. Because I talked about these two archetypes, right? Some are performance machines, others are like relationship, meaningful communities, but both actually have to come together if you want to grow personally, if you want to grow your business more sustainably, right? Because yeah, both have their positive effects, and of course, both have their negative effects. So you want to integrate that. So I think there's one part of the argumentation is that like to bring that together, right? So that chemistry actually is created, and underneath chemistry is of course connection, and it's like spark, and it's aliveness. Right? Success without aliveness for me is not complete. Like, so I don't want to, like, my
Mm-hmm.
vision is not only to help founders and businesses to become successful, but also to help them thrive and come alive. And aliveness is associated for me also with meaningful relationships and with fulfillment. Because if you become successful, but you lose your soul along the way, you
Mm-hmm.
feel up empty. And if you're successful but you don't build any relationships, you're lonely. So I feel like these two are so um, foundational to also a founder's journey who invest so much in their journey, also in terms of finances, in terms of times, in terms of identity, in terms of everything. So that's one thing, right? To realize that, not to end up after a long journey and to look back and now maybe have a lot of money in the account, but feel empty inside or feel lonely. So that's one thing. And on a more like deeper, more general level, like my personal vision is to kind of help people or businesses, let's say, transform flat, conservative, maybe even conflicting relationships into more meaningful, into more into more harmonized, into like better connections, and to open up their horizons along the way. That's what drives me personally as a vision to yeah to have this change in relationships and to broaden people's horizons along the way. I think that's what keeps us trapped, right? To think that our view of the world is the right one because we come from there. It's our conditioning, but there's so much difference. Like I come from Switzerland, and I'm now in Thailand, and culturally sometimes there's so much difference that it's so hard for me to just. It's like how can this be like that here? And it's really like an opening to not only get along with it, but to find the beauty in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to say, and there's just something connecting about that. And deep down, it's a lot about harmony. I have to be honest with you. I use the word harmony. I don't like it that much. I think it's so overused. When people think of harmony, it's this. Oh yeah, just get along. It's like no. I don't. It's like it's deeper, like deep connection and
Mm.
deep respect for
It's
each
more
other.
like the maybe like a not harmony, but what am I thinking? Like coherence or something like that? Maybe.
Yeah, to some degree, yeah. Coherence, resonance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that. Yeah. Because it's kind of, you're building some sort of field in these kind of relationships. And if there is um, distortion, right? And that's what we're seeing. You see distortion, and then, the harmony, what do you call harmony, and you don't like because it's not quite it's been used a lot differently, but it is really
Mm.
kind of an harmony, right? You
Mm.
like harmony in the way of, if you think of music, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, so I think it
And
is.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And conflict, at least I would say constructive conflict is part of that. Like it's
Mhm,
like I remember my earliest coach, he once drew a relationship model, and I don't remember like 3 or 4 dimensions, but one of the dimensions that he drew was just conflict. And so he made it part of a foundational pillar of relationships. And that back then for me was very revealing because I thought of it as, oh, something is wrong if conflict is there. But now I
mhm,
think, oh, something is off if good conflict is not there, because then you might not speak what you really think. So, like a system has to have conflict, and you have to have work with that, and you have to work with it. And I hope that it can be like done in a way that it doesn't lead to things that we see now in a bigger term, but also, of course, in smaller terms.
mhm,
It's just if we know how to have good conflict with each other, that's amazing, right? We don't have to like each other, but we can be respectful in how we disagree with certain things. And
mhm.
so the deeper harmony for me includes like the disruption or the conflict. Otherwise, it's a fake harmony in that
Right.
sense, right? Mm.
Yeah. And conflict is very important for, you know, growing and understanding more about yourself, or just
Exactly.
certain, I mean, action in general. You get um, aliveness, what you mentioned, because if there's no conflict, then you kind of get stuck.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, absolutely. Actually, when you're saying this, I have this quote coming up from Virginia Satir. I think she's a psychologist, was a psychologist in the US, and she once said something along the lines of, "We connect through our similarities, we grow through our differences." Right, and that's
Hmm.
exactly right. Right? Yeah, there's a similarity that lets us connect, but it's that tension that is created in our differences that allows us to grow if you're willing to go there.
Hmm. Yeah, we have a comment here. Good leaders are those that cultivate relational resonance within the team they lead. This includes finding where bad conflict cancels out resonance and where healthy conflict amplifies it.
Yeah, great point. Absolutely. Well
Yeah,
put. Yeah.
mm, great. Yeah, beautiful. No, this is great. I love that you do this work, and I really hope that you can reach more groups to, really bring that to them. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, let's switch a little bit and let's go into diving a little bit more deeper into your inner world.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, if you're up for it, I would like to lead you through a little um, meditation,
Of
a
course.
visualization meditation, and then
Hmm.
we can do um, afterwards. You can maybe share what arose, and I can do some art.
Fantastic.
All right,
Fantastic. Sounds great. Yes.
all right. You ready?
Hmm. So just close my eyes for now.
Yeah, just get comfortable. You don't have to, sit too straight, but just, how it feels good.
Right.
As the eyes, and I just want to start out with relaxing and connecting to a kind of a grounding more. So just breathe however feels natural. And then when you breathe in, I want you to just feel into your body to see where there are any tensions. Usually around the shoulders, we have that, or, the hands, arms, anything like that. If you can feel any tension in your face. And then when you breathe out, you just try and soften and breathe out that tension. And then I want you to Feel your connection to the ground, feet. Feel the gravitational pull of this earth, the way our earth is holding us. And on your seat, on your feet, is something reliable. You'll feel this every day of your life. It's there. Then just relax into that embrace, into that steadiness. There's nothing you need to worry about anything that happened or anything that's going to happen. What's going to happen when it happens. Right now, you're here, sitting, nothing to worry about, just being here, just breathing. I want you to put your attention on your heart, the heart space. And just breathe into that space. We associate with our love and passion and heartbreak, of course, too, which can be a good fuel for our passion. Right? Heartbreak comes from love. Let's breathe into there. It's like imagine you're breathing energy into that space. It's like you're forming this glowing ball of energy. I know it's kind of a cliche, but let's just imagine it. And then slowly move your attention up and with it kind of connecting the energy of your heart up to the space between your brows. Breathe into there. And then imagine from all of that energy, a portal is created, a portal to the space where you can feel and experience your vision, your inner vision space. And when you're ready, I want you to go through the door, through the portal, and let yourself be immersed by the space that represents your vision of where you want to go, what you want to bring into the life, into the world. And just let it surround you. And we want to explore it with our different senses. So let's focus on hearing right now. So just notice any sounds that you can hear. And if there's nothing, that's fine too. And then draw attention to smells. This might not be as strong one. Some people have certain smells that come up, some don't. And then shift to touch, or kind of more like a touch sensations on your skin. Or how does the ground feel? How does the air feel? Is it warm? Is it cold? Is there any movement in the air? And then let's move to sight and explore this place. What is close by? Immediate. Anything emerges. It might be a pictures. It might be more like a feeling. That's okay though. And then if you look out in the distance, what is there? I want you to I want you to think of this space like it could have a voice to tell you things, to give you a message. What is important for you to hear right now? What would it tell you? And let's take a big breath. And we're going to say goodbye for now. Thank you. Leave this space. It's always there inside of you to come back if you need to. And then slowly come back into your body. Feel your body. Wiggle your fingers. And then you can open your eyes.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
Peaceful.
Good. All right. I'm going to switch my camera.
Mm-hmm.
I hope. Did I open it? I did. Let's see if this works. It might take a while to switch.
No problem.
If you see anything right now, it's just black.
At the moment, I just see a picture of you, but like a frozen. I hear you, but I see the picture frozen right now.
Let's see. Here we
Oh,
go.
now I see. Yeah, now I see your notebook.
Yeah, okay. Let me see. This is the page I'm going to pick up. All right. Okay. Walk me through what happened. What happened? Just from the meditation and then um, going into the inner space.
Hmm. Yeah. So I started, like you guided me, to the connection of my feet to the ground. I felt that quite intense in the sense of very present,
Mm-hmm.
like connection of the feet, how the earth or the gravity pulls me down. Um, I went into my heart that was quite harmonic. It was quite open, like at ease, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we opened up the portal, I basically was in one specific scene.
Okay.
Yeah. uh One scene. Yeah. Like a quite a, yeah, relatively clear picture, I would say.
Yeah.
hmm
What did you see?
So I was on a field. It was grass. There was like on the right side a little bit of the ending of a lake. And in the background there was like one big mountain. Reminded me actually a bit of Switzerland, which is, I don't know if it's weird, but it reminded me a bit of Switzerland. Yeah, so big mountain. I was standing on grass, a lake to the side, and then there was just, let's say, a couple, I think, on a picnic cover. How do you call it? Yeah, like just having like a picnic kind of thingy next to the lake.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were people meditating, like in a meditation posture,
Yeah.
individually, like in the middle, in the middle background, so to say, just in front of the, well, not in the mountain, but at the bottom of the mountain.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Let me see if I can capture this. So we have some mountains. What? I don't like this color. Let me give it a little bit of dimension here. The mountains. And usually focus a little bit of green and different green and you said you had a picnic bench here. Oh no, they were on a towel, yeah, on
Yeah, they
a
were kind of,
blanket.
yeah, on a, yeah, blanket. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, exactly. They were kind of a blanket, having their picnic there. Mm, yeah, like in front of the lake. That was probably the close. They were relatively close.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Let's see if I can put like a little blanket. Okay, have some people here. How many people did you have on the blanket? Just two?
yeah, just two.
Then we have some meditators around here
Exactly. Yeah.
in the back.
Yeah, they were like yeah, like really distributed also to the back of the, or the middle of the picture. If the back is the mountain. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
What does meditation mean to you? What is the significance in your life of meditation?
Hmm. It's, what is it? It's like it's something that has come back to me. So I moved to Bangkok about 2 years ago, and ever since I moved here, I was more leaning into, I would say, like qigong. So I needed some movement meditation in the morning, and now the let's say the sitting meditation is coming back. It's yeah, something about just grounding, like peaceful, being present, being here,
Mm-hmm.
no demands, nothing to reach. Yeah, I would say, yeah, well, like a connection that comes with that. A peaceful
Hmm.
connection. Mm.
Yeah. So did this space have any messages for you?
Yeah, so I mean, there was a couple. So there were also birds. I didn't see the birds, but I heard the bird sounds.
Hmm.
And the messages that came were around space or spaciousness, peace, and ease.
Okay. See. Now, spaciousness. That is
Yeah,
a
or
nice one to.
space. Yeah, spaciousness or space. Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking it up because I don't want to misspell.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Great.
No, no, I need to come back here. Here we go. All right. Um, so what is it telling you? What do you think? Is this something that you feel like you need to lean into more? Or is this something it's telling you this is good, you're doing it, you're doing um
It is. I mean, it is for sure like the contrast like that to Bangkok, right? I mean, if I think about Bangkok, Switzerland as a contrast, Switzerland leans into to some degree that picture. Bangkok is probably the opposite, like
mhm,
like big buildings, a lot of energy, like crazy aliveness, and I guess it is an invitation to lean more into that. Yeah, in the whole, not only right the activity, there's the activity, let's say, of the energy of the city, and there's the whole stuff going on in the world. So um, I think I do need to lean more into that. Yeah,
mhm, mhm. Yeah, and bring it somewhat with you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is how I like feel like also today, right? It felt, and also yesterday, last week. I wonder, yeah, what would have popped out also last week, where I was in a different place.
Mhm.
I could definitely needed more of that for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, and maybe this is something that you can maybe go to this space when you well, like last week when you needed it. Maybe. I don't know.
Mm,
It could be something to go to.
yeah, I feel like it's something to even cultivate, right? It's like it's yeah, that's what I need to cultivate. Otherwise, I might be drawn into the other energy very easily.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
could imagine. Mm,
Yeah. Yeah, maybe this is something you can bring into your work as well. I'm sure that, in the different teams and
for
um
sure.
a lot of people feel this, especially right now. It's not, not that things like these that geopolitical things currently are not something that happen again and again in the world, but um right now it does definitely seems like it's a very um, you know, very strong.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
for sure. Mm, that's great.
Yeah. Let me see if I can put this a little bit closer. This is a little bit strange too. I don't know how to move the paper. to get a good angle
Yeah, to
because
get a
my
good angle.
camera is angled and it's very strange.
Too
So
many
we'll see
angles, but no, it's great. I see it. I see it well. Thank you.
this can come up a little
Yeah,
bit.
it captures it well. Mm.
This a little bit. This a little bit. Nice. I try. Here we go. I think this is gonna work.
Yeah,
Okay.
it
Here
works.
we go.
Mm. Cool. Thank
Uh,
you.
yeah. Let me switch back to my face. Here we go.
Oh yeah, I see you. Very
Hello.
good. Hello.
Yeah. So yeah. So this is a little bit of. This is just a very small um, um, taste, I guess. But I do something, around these lines of, leading people into their a little bit more inner spaces, more symbolic, um, and connecting that back to um, their their life. Trying to kind of bring these inner spaces also into people's lives or into teams because you also have these inner spaces in a field that are connected, so for teams.
Sure.
Yeah. And then I paint it to bring it kind of out as into like as an anchor into the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
And
Very
yeah,
cool.
that's what my art and my work is all about.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Makes it good to. A picture is a very valuable anchor in many ways. Yeah,
Hmm.
I find like in so many contexts. Yeah, the vision, sometimes even just drawing your current context can reveal so much if you just draw it rather than think about it, right? So
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, well, in general, I mean, if you think about just visualization of things and even um, other things that I've done. This is like this visual scribing, where essentially it's like note taking, but you do it a little bit more so in like a picture way,
Mm,
because I
okay,
think that also um, sometimes pictures just help people grasp or remember um, bigger concepts, like where you
that's
would
right.
have to write, you'd have to write like a whole paragraph, but it's like just one picture, and it's like, oh, like not that necessarily everyone gets that who wasn't in this session, right? But
Mm,
like if
mm,
you were, then that it triggers you like, to remember this a lot
that's for
quicker.
sure.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, it's really great talking to you. Thank you for
Yeah,
being here a
likewise.
guest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Wonderful to connect
Yeah.
and reconnect.
Reconnect. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, it's been a
exactly.
while since we talked the last. Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
right. Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if anyone we didn't have too many guests, but I think a lot is just from the timing.
It's a
Um
bit early, depending on where we
yeah,
are.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I have like a few well, people in Europe or whatever time zones.
Yeah,
Um
yeah.
for how late is it for you right now?
Not too late now. It's 6:15 p.m.
Okay, so yeah, evening. Yeah, and it's early morning for me. So um
Calculating it
that's
says love from
that's what it
Netherlands.
is.
Very good.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you for making time so early for me. That I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. No, this works out well. And now I can have a very relaxed morning, start of the morning.
Nice. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Cool.
wonderful. Well, thank you.
Thank you very
And
much.
yeah, I'm wishing you a nice evening and hope to talk to
Likewise.
you again soon.
Likewise. Likewise. Absolutely. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.